Anyways, let's get to some news, shall we, Jay? This today was a historic visit to Washington, D.C., where basically another foreigner is asking for money from us.
Sometimes the stereotypes speak for themselves. Like,
This is true.
it
Now,
happens.
for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I, of course, am talking about Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who issued a joint address to Congress this evening, met with President Biden, and to cap off his visit, beseeched U.S. Congress, beseeched, Jay, beseeched. He asked U.S. Congress to approve nearly $50 billion in additional aid to his country, saying that swift passage would not only stop Russian influence in the region, but preserve democracy as a whole. He spoke for roughly 25 minutes, and pretty much every single corporate media, journalist, and outlet has been praising the speech up and down. You know, he's out there preserving democracy, saving it, you know, hitting back at those dirty Ruskies. I can say that, right?
Dirty Ruskies?
Ruskies, yeah.
I think so. I mean, what is it? Is it like the N-word for Russians?
Basically, yeah. It's like what's a
Is it the Russian color for black?
And that's how we get deplatformed off YouTube. No, where was I? Jay, you tripped me up again.
You were talking about his speech beseeching Congress for more than $50 billion and how all the corporate media is praising this because, you know, it's going to save democracy if we send them all this money, because, you know, Ukraine falling to Russia means democracy ends 100%,
over,
like over completely,
essentially 100%.
Not
oh shit. Not when we did nothing when you know, the Rwandan genocide happened, or not when we did nothing when, you know, the Romanian genocide happened, not when we did nothing when all of these other atrocities happened around the world. No, this one right here, this right here is what saving democracy looks like.
It's Jay, it's everything. I don't know why everyone is so gung-ho about this and presenting the Ukrainian flag. You know, look, there's nothing wrong with like his speech to Congress. Like, it's pretty common for world leaders to come to the United States and deliver joint you know, a speech to the joint session of Congress. You know, Bibi Netanyahu has done it. The former Afghani president before the Taliban took over, Ashraf Ghani, did it. And you know, almost every single time, you know, they've asked Congress for something. It's not like, it's basically an episode of Shark Tank, Jay. It is, if Shark Tank was in Washington, they're asking for seed money to do one of these crazy new projects, and ultimately all they do is just spend it on killing people.
And I love how we're sending all this money with no, you know, parameters around it whatsoever.
It's not saying like, you know, this $40 billion is for rebuilding your country, or saying that like this needs to be used for making sure schools are running properly or hospitals or whatever. It's just a blank check going to this guy. And Ukraine is not, when they talk about like how it's democracy over there and all that kind of stuff, the amount of corruption that happens in a country like Ukraine is insane. Like, and I'm not saying we're without the corruption, but the fact that we're just sending blank checks like that to one of the most corrupt governments there are on earth. I mean, almost all Eastern European countries are corrupt as shit. You can buy off anybody.
He probably, it's wild. It's one of the most corrupt countries in the Eastern Bloc, and people want to tell you, who are pissing on your face, they want to tell you, "Ooh, you like that, huh?" And tell you
I
that
do
training.
actually. I do.
They do. I really want to highlight this part.
I do.
I really want to highlight this part here. This is from New York Times report. Chuck Schumer, when he asked Zelensky privately earlier Wednesday what it would mean if Congress failed to pass the aid, he says it would mean we'd lose the war. Schumer recounted. I almost initially read that as Schumer saying that we'd lose the war, as if the United States was just pretty much already involved in the war.
Right. Well, I mean, we kind of are. It's hard to say that we're not when we're sending weapons and sending a bunch of taxpayer money and all of that and funding and stuff and support. It's hard to like, if Russia really wanted, as they were saying, that United States is in this war, he's not without reason.
All right, wait, hold on. Say that one more time.
I said, when Russia accuses the United States of being part of this war, it's not without reason.
Oh, you say, yeah, they're not wrong, basically.
Right. We are a part of this war. We are.
Whether we like it or not.
We are, causing worse inflation. We're diverting funds that could help us here in the United States over to Ukraine. We are not putting any parameters around this funding so they can use it for whatever. If they wanted to use it for nerve gas bombs, they could do that. And there's nothing, they could use American taxpayer dollars on any weapons that they want, because we have not limited the use of these funds or said, if you use these funds for X, we're going to take it away.
Yeah, there's basically zero oversight in this particular, well, and pretty much every single AIDS package that the United States has sent over to Ukraine. And I know that we rail against funding Ukraine on a lot of different levels, but the United States has funded so many different countries. We've basically funded every side of every single war, and we always play two sides against the middle for some reason. We always want to come out on top and but basically, Jay, all that does is sow more animosity, it alienates both allies, it creates enemies, and all it does really is make the United States look like a bunch of meddlers. And we just can't keep, like, Team America World Police might be the most prescient film of the 21st century, maybe all time, with respect to U.S. foreign policy, because we legitimately cannot stay out of people's affairs.
We have to be right in it all the time, and it's like it's kind of like the reason why we're doing that is because of the military contracts we can get out of shit like that. It's almost like we're deliberately funding wars in order for these different military companies to make funding off of it.
Yeah. And before we go to our next topic, just going to remind our YouTube audience that we are going to end the stream over here and continue exclusively on Rumble. So all 9 of you, head on over there. There's a link in the description of the
join the over 950 Habibis watching on Rumble.
Over 1,000 now. Oh wow! So you're gonna get a massive bump just from our 9 to 11 viewers. So we're gonna go ahead. We'll see you over there. Habibi.